we moved into my major childhood home when I was around 7 years old. It was an acre, a little bit more than an acre of ground. My dad fixed it up. He was a wallpaper and painter. And we fixed the house up. You could actually see through the floors and the windows were broken out. And he'd go to work and he'd come home and he'd fix it. And we had giant gardens. And then we planted 400 tomato plants one year, and we had a flood. And there were tomatoes floating on top of the water, but looked like a sea of green tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah. And we had pigeons and rabbits and chickens and ducks. What else did we have? Dogs. No, not many cats. Me and my brother lived upstairs and had no heat, no air conditioning. In the summer, we would leave the windows open. And in the wintertime, we wake up, there'd be frost on the window, but we had giant, warm, cozy comforters, and we just slept great through the night. We climbed trees and had fruit trees in the back, pear trees and apple trees and all kinds of mulberry trees and cherry trees. And it just had a close to nature type of growing up, along with the baseball. I played ball and my brother went the hunting direction. And then because my dad had to split time between me and my brother, and he came and told me, he says, I can't come to all your games because he says, your brother likes to hunt and fish. And he says, while you're playing ball, he deserves part of my time too. So, it was fair. So he came to my games. He even coached a couple of years. And he wasn't there at all the games, which was okay because he was taking my brother and sisters hunting. Not my sisters hunting, but taking them fishing and spending time with them too. Way of getting income in the summer too, because me and my brother would harvest the tomatoes and the vegetables, and we would take them around on our bicycles in baskets, and we would sell them vegetables in the subdivisions. So once we sold all the vegetables in the subdivisions, we came home, and sometimes we got more, and sometimes we just, quit, went and did other things.
Oh, is that you?
Yep. There's me as a baby. Didn't see too many movies. I think we saw, my mom took us to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Robin Hood, we saw that at a movie. She took us on a bus downtown.
Oh, on a bus?
To the Majestic Theater to watch that. And then we would go to Walgreens to get a malt. And they used to have a counter in the Walgreens then. Just about that time, the Westerns came on TV, black and white. There was Lone Ranger, Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, Hopalong Cassidy, Cisco Kid, Yeah, but the TV didn't come on till 3 o'clock. There was a big Indian with the sound in back of it. And then at 3 o'clock, that's when the TV came on, and it was the Howdy Doody show.
Huh.
That was the first thing we got to see. No color. Yeah. Didn't have much money to go out on. You gotta, if you want to go out and have things, you gotta get a job and you gotta work for it. Yeah. First paying job was like when I was 17. I had just got in a car. It was at a place called Traders Market. I was a stock guy with I took in and out 100-pound sacks of potatoes and 60-pound, 70-pound crates of tomatoes and vegetables, and just kept the shelves stocked, and went through all the produce to make sure it was fresh. And every once in a while, I'd wind up in the butcher room helping the butcher, and filled in at the register.
Do you remember how much you got paid?
75 cents an hour.
Oh my gosh.
75 cents an hour, but gasoline was 25 cents.
Huh.
So you'd pull into the gasoline station, and you'd get 25 cents worth, and you figured your car, how many miles per gallon your car went, so that's how many miles you could drive on that gallon.
What was your first car?
First car was a 1949 flathead V8 Ford. It was green. I painted the green Hornet on the side in yellow paint. Looked like a bumblebee on the door. My car's name was the Green Hornet. It had 4 different size tires on it. The best tire was a white wall on the front left. It was bigger than the rest, but it was a pickup truck tire. And they were all bald. Didn't have money for new tires. When it rained, if you stepped on the gas, the windshield wipers stopped. They were called vacuum windshield wipers. So you had if you were if it was raining and you wanted your windshield wipers to work, you had to let off the gas so your windshield wipers would work. And it was 3 on the column, and there weren't many on the floor back then. Stick shift. Had a separate button on the floor for your bright lights. You had to press on it.
Her, and what attracted you to her?
Met my wife in a bar. She was sitting with a friend, but I was just out of the service, and saw her sitting with her friend, and on a GI Bill, making about $125 a month. So I went up to her and I said, she was drinking some kind of a fancy drink. I don't know what it was. It might have had an umbrella in it. I don't know. But I walked up to her and I said, hello, and I sat down, and I said, I don't know if I can afford to buy you a fancy drink like that, but I'll share my beer with you. And so she didn't tell me to go away, so I figured something worked.
You have attained.
I always wanted a family. I wanted to keep my family close. And as far as family, I've accomplished that. Family. There's not much else that's any better for me. I like to drink good beer, go hunting and fishing, have a good barbecue.
Sports in high school. Would you like to tell us about your baseball career and how that went?
All kinds of teams growing up.
Your most memorable game?
And what was your most memorable game of your high school career?
I guess my most memorable game was I pitched the first no-hitter for Cahokia. So that was a pretty memorable game. I once struck out 14 guys against Madison. We lost.
Wow. And then you pitched 20 innings in one game.
When I was 17, we had a traveling league, and in 98-degree weather, the team was made up of the guys who were going to be varsity for the senior year. So against Millstadt, and during the summer, 98-degree weather, started about 2:00. The game led off. So I think we won 3-2 in the 20th. I lost 14 pounds. It was 5.5 hours long. Allowed 10 hits, struck out 34 guys, struck out one guy 5 times. He was crying a lot on the bench. Got off the 15th with a triple, and they left me stranded. And but I don't recommend that nowadays. For 2 weeks after that, every time I picked up a baseball, my fingers tingled. The first 15 innings, I was a fastball, curve slider pitcher. The last 5 innings, I was strictly curve and slider. There was no more fastball left. So.
And then
But
you went on to play in college, correct?
Went on to play college. Had an interruption when probably at my prime opportunity for the scouts to look at me. I went to the service, so came out. But when I was 23, they asked me to try out. So I'm still here, not coaching or playing. So that's how that went. I faced, let's see, in the tryout, I faced 5 guys. I struck out 3. But, that was all right. I probably, I'm 5'10", so
Yeah.
I probably would have wore out pretty quick with my body structure.
Who was that that asked you to try out? Who was that that asked you to try out?
Actually, it was the scout who signed Red Shandings, and he signed, who else did he sign? He signed somebody else, but I forget.
So for the Cardinals?
Yeah. I didn't even know it. He was an old guy. He was sitting way back in the trees. And after the game, they said, guy wants to talk to you, and it turned out to be a Cardinal scout.
How are you watching your grandkids play sports?
It's one of my favorite pastimes, and they're all pretty good. I like to see them develop. I like to see them take advantage of their fundamentals and their approach to the game. And I like to see what things I can see that they listen to me about.
Did you like watching growing up? Or teams?
Players? Oh my gosh. Musial, Hank Aaron, Frank Robinson, just Bob Gibson, Juan Marichal, Sandy Koufax, Torrey, just all the Hall of Famers that just incredible ball players. But you just had a wad of them. You'd have them on one team, and Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Kurt Flood. I even saw Mike Shannon play when he was young. Just incredible guys with just raw talent.
Tell us about this picture here.
Oh, that is a scene from around Valmar, across the Modoc Lake on Trout Hollow Road, and I take a picture of that. I try to take from the same spot every year, and that's just one of them that I thought was good enough to kind of remind me of a fall scene, because I like that kind of stuff.
You like photography?
Yep, I really do. I really like photography. It keeps me close to nature, and it's developed into something I really like to do. My granddaughter Anna asked me, she said the other day she had a dream and a nightmare. So I said, well, Anna, I had a nightmare too the other day. And she says, what was it? I says, well, I dreamt all night that I was eating giant marshmallows, and when I woke up, my pillow was gone.
Okay, I want all the grandkids over there to sit by him. Just
You want to take a
sit in
picture?
the video. Yeah, just.